So now we begin throwing down some freaking paint. This part is actually going to be a little bit of a kind of a review of a product I've been kind of waiting for a long time, since I saw at the 2023 SEMA show the Black Widow line of airbrushes came out. I like the Black Widow line. I pretty much use the original spray one, even though they've upgraded. But even though this ain't really of an unboxing, but because I've already unboxed it, but what I'm gonna be kind of trying for the first time, which I haven't ever loaded up, is the handle triggered version. This one actually has a wide fan tip as well, which is kind of what sold me. So this is almost like a mini touch-up gun. Some of the cool things about this, even though we're in a guitar build here, so it kind of comes with this nice little case in here, some extras. You have this larger cup here and a smaller one here, and you have two choices of needles and tips. Right now I'm running in here, since this is kind of a larger of an airbrush, a 0.05 millimeter tip. It also comes in here is also a 0.3 needle, and the needles are even marked so you know which one it is. And it comes with tips for your particular spray pattern. What I have loaded in here is actually the round tip, like an airbrush, but it has a fan tip right here. This is for the 0.5 in here. It also has one for the 0.3. Same thing, it has a 0.3 for that one too. So you have 4 tips total. And it even for the nozzle, it also has, you know, in here, shaky camera, for the 0.3. The weird thing is you're just gonna have to, as far as the little nozzle goes, you have to remember what you have in here with the needle, so you don't try to mix things up. And even comes with a little bit of lube for your lubrication here for cleaning, and which is pretty cool, quick release. It doesn't have the female end, but it has the male end. But it works with the It works with the Iwata quick release, which I have here. So you can use the Iwata quick release parts here, and it'll work with it, which is freaking awesome. Anyways, right now I have in here is basically the tip, well, actually the spot version, not the fan part, because of course I want to darken my little burn throughs a little bit, so that way I'm not going to keep applying too much paint over the whole thing that I don't need. So I have mixed up in here is just some black. I'm not being racist, it's just the color I chose, because this natural color here is more like, I mean, you can barely see wood grain, but not really. So it's like, yeah, there's nothing, I don't need a transparent. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to darken it a bit, because this natural color is like a very dark purple, and it's just like that kind of, I don't like that. So I got a little strainer out here. Don't know if you see, you probably can. I'm just going to go ahead and pour my paint into my cup here. The extra, go ahead and settle through there. Put my cap back on. So this is actually my first time running this with paint. I want to see how it sprays. Okay, pretty good. Maybe I should dial my air down. I'm pretty high. It's like down to 25 psi. So see what we got here. Just darken the little spot, little burn spots. Trigger feels comfortable. Oh, there's a good one here. There's this one right here. Oh, I have all this masked off because I'm only want to work with the sides and back on this one. Sure, take a look underneath. Let me lower this down. Oh yeah, that's right. Up here for sure. And always make sure you have 2 points of contact. Here's this guy, and I have one down here, so you try to keep this guitar body stable. Alright, cool. What I'm going to do now is I want to change the tip out. I want to try the fan because now I want to kind of go over the whole body. So let's just unscrew the freaking nozzle here. Pull that out. My 5mm. Now I'm kind of curious on how wide this fan is. Do a little test. I'm gonna have to up the air. I would say it's about like, depending on how far you go. Oh, I got it. I'm doing it the wrong way. Oh, okay. About good 4 inches. Oh, mother. Okay. So while I have it down here, I might as well just do the sides. And I'm actually just kind of, I'm giving it like a, what you call a tack coat, which is basically just a light coat, so it kind of sets up quicker. I can go up here. Oh, hold on. I got a piece of tape that folded over where it's not supposed to be. So how the hell that happened? There should have been any right here. Yeah, just do that. Okay. I'm actually liking the feeling of this airbrush. It's very comfortable. Really comfortable in the hand. The trigger is smooth. So now, you guys see a good look at it. Let me turn this down a little bit. And I'm going half and half overlap. Again. Get more on the side again. And there's one thing actually I forgot to do before I changed this tip, but now I I just saw it and remind me I have to do part of the headstock. It's more like this is going to be part of what's to come. So on the headstock here, I'm actually just going to enhance the border a little bit. I have to turn my air back down. So the way I'm going to do that is, see, I don't want to just spray. I want to, you know, make this fade pattern darker, but I don't want to just hit it like right on it, because it'll just make it just too wide. I just want barely. So what you want to do is, you don't want to go this way at it, because all your stuff's going to hit it and just clog up too much. So you want to go opposite. I'm going to hit it, the edge off, and let the extra paint just go off the side. So basically I'm just doing the edge here. And what I'm looking at as I'm doing this is the sheen in the light. I mean, that's basically what I'm looking for right there. So I don't think I need to do any more as far as the black base on that. Let me switch back to the fan, because what I want to do is use up the paint that I have left. So I gotta set my gun back up the air pressure again. Okay, ran out of paint on my mix, but that's okay. I still have some left in my cup. I mean, I'm kind of okay on how much paint's already on it, but I can add a little bit more. Let me drop this down again. Kind of see. Sorry about that. In case you really like this stuff. And there's a reason why I'm kind of trying to get this wet, because I'm going to be using the backside here to try to enhance pearl. Not a lady named Pearl, but pearl paint. One thing though is, like, the cap for this thing is kind of really tight. So now I'm going to add this wicked color, Black Pearl. And because it's kind of a little bit wet, but it's going to tack up quick, it'll give this something to grab onto. Now, when it comes to pearls, you can't apply them like paint. Pearls is just basically an effect. So it's basically, you want wide, quick passes. So let me make sure I can. So make sure I'm getting my sides here. On camera, it's going to be kind of hard to see this thing at first. Where? Now I have to do the same thing with the headstock. So I'm going to just use the different nozzle. Probably could have reduced the Black Pearl. Okay. Let's see how much pearl I have left in here. Oh yeah, I got quite a bit. God, these stupid big fucking flies. Actually, what I need to do, I think I do need to reduce this a little bit. What I can do is, though, not going to hurt it, but I can, yes, exactly what I'll do. I can use some of the original black. And just mix it with it. This thing all splashing all over me. There we go. Now we can start painting again. out. Get all this blood. Again. Back there. Okay. Hard part is actually depending on the right lighting. It's like it's hard to tell the effect. I think you can use more. Okay, I need to go take a look at this in sunlight and see if I'm happy. So I checked it out in the sun. I actually liked it. It's not too overpowering as far as the pearl go. It's literally just how I like it. You know, just enough where you get that nice little pearl effect colors, but it's just not too much in your face. But I am going to let this dry overnight. And the next thing we'll have to do is kind of fade in the border over here, which means this is going to have to go, and I'm going to have to literally do like what I do with the headstock, do it right here, and then we can actually start enhancing this thing. So that's what's going to be coming up for you to see right now. All right, now I can actually start focusing on the front of this guitar. So continuing on with the paint here, I want to actually do my edge a little fade, but nowhere near like how the original was. Okay, I have no idea how much audio I didn't have on the end of that, so we'll just pretend I'm starting fresh. So what I'm going to apply here is pearl red on the face of this. Depending on how, you know, when it comes with laying pearls also, because it's extremely transparent and you only want it as an effect for like when you turn it in one light it looks one way and you turn it another way it doesn't look like anything. That's kind of like what I'm trying to achieve on this. So it's basically experimentation. So I'm loaded up with pearl red in my gun, so it's just basically quick, even strokes until you get the desired achievement. Good thing though, it's actually making the body more red. I didn't mix up much, but it looks like I may have to mix up some more. So just trying to look at it and just trying to see the pearls in it. This is something I may have to see in the sunlight, but I can tell I'm going to need more, so I'm going to mix up a little bit more. By the way I'm mixing it up and what I'm using is Wicked Colors. It's a water base, and I always reduce these water base with distilled water, distilled only. and roughly about 50-50. But after that, you have to kind of like set your paint flow and air flow depending on how thick your paint was mixed. So don't always have to be exact. If you're 60-40 or 55-45, 50-50, whatever, just adjust your gun accordingly. That's how I do it. No one's perfect. Basically, if it's too thin, you may want to up your air a little bit, but turn your paint down. And if it's too thick, well, kind of the same thing really. If it's too thick, you dial your paint down, and we're actually saying, like I said, it's the same thing. Just be careful on how much you apply. But if your paint's also too thin, you want to actually do lighter coats and let it set up before you do another pass. Thicker ones, you have a little more forgiveness on putting a second pass on it because it's thick enough to where it will hold on there without being runny. But if your paint's too thin, it'll just fall all over the place like instantly. So you have to do a really light coats and let it set up between then. Okay, Levi stopped here. And for ducks, I am just going to go ahead and dust a little bit on the black. Just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of flair. Even though it has mostly black pearl on it anyways, but it's the excuse of the overspray. So let me add some more. Okay, now I need to go take a look at it in the sun. I'll be right back. Tell you the truth, just by putting the pearl on, I mean, if I had to stop right here, I'd be happy with this. This is like a really reddish orange already. And I still see the wood pattern in it, which is great. Way better than the light orange color. And also I forgot that since I've been on this thing, I forgot to do the headstock. So I quickly matched it up off camera. So that was my bad. So now I'm going to actually do the transparent red or a candy red. What I'm using also on that is the Creatix has what is known as Candy 2.0. And with that, you have to use like a balance and clear. Pretty much these two, balance and clear. And what's the exact color on this one? Blood red. Basically, use about 10% of this to whatever volume you have with this. I'm actually have a lot ready because I do not know how far I'm going to go. But I'm going to go. Let's put it that way. And by the way, this stuff is very thin. No need to reduce it with distilled water or anything. And I have my air pressure up high. I have my paint setting left as is. And I'm going to do it by going back. So basically, you kind of want to go on light. Anyways, like I was saying, when your paint is thin, you want to go on light and let it set up. So basically, this is kind of like what you do. And I'm going to be farther away and quicker. And that was just 2 passes, so I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Even though that may look like 4, but it's really up, down, I count as 1. So basically, I can continue to keep going as long as it's not running. And like I said, I want to be farther back because if I'm too close, my overlap could be too heavy and it'll be all uneven. But you still gotta have your overlap. So I did 2 sets right there. Same thing, I gotta do this. 2 sets. See, that's 1 set. 2 sets. 1, 2, 1, 2 sets. See how much I have in here still? Quite a bit. For the hell of it. Let's do the back. Let's do the sides and back because there is overspray on it, so I doubt it's going to show much, but sometimes when you put a transparent color over some type of black base, it does really interesting effects. And the rest of my mix, use it up. The more you layer on, the more darker and deeper it will get. And the pearl will still show through because this is a transparent color. It's basically a type of clear that has a dye in it. That's all what a candy color is. In case you're wondering, if you're messing with candy colors, you really don't need to clear coat it. Because like I said, it is a clear. I like to do it anyways, so in case you happen to get a scratch on it, you're actually scratching your clear coat, you can color sand it, and buff it out. But in this case, if you didn't, it's basically you scratch it, you paint the whole thing. I'm not going to paint the whole thing like that. Of course, as you see, I keep going back to the headstock, applying even more. This thing is redder than shit. I love it. I love this blood red. Maybe just add a little bit more on the backside. All right, I'm out of my candy. Sometimes when you're doing this stuff, you kind of get ahead of yourself and just go nuts. But you know what? Damn, I freaking love this color. Damn. And you know what? I didn't technically repaint it. I didn't strip it down, anything. I just went over its original orange, add a little pearl on it for little lighting effect. And since the next color from orange is red, or you can, it's kind of harder to go from orange to yellow. You probably could, but probably not. But like if you wanted to go, it would be, if you had a green one, it'd be easier to go from green to blue, whatever. So this actually worked out freaking great. So now I'm gonna let this dry until it's fully cured. I got things to do in my life, so basically the next thing you're gonna see is the clear coat application. But for me, it's going to be a few days because I really want this thing to fully cure before I put a clear on it, because the clear I'm going to be using is not a water base, and this is. If you're not fully cured and you're mixing two different animals together, basically I'm going to be using some type of polyurethane type of clear. They can react funny if they're not fully cured. So I'm going to let this fully cure and clear coat, and paint will be good. God damn, this thing looks great. But once I get the clear on it, this thing's going to shine. Okay, be right back. All right, now it's time for the fun part. Laying on some clear. That's really going to bring some shit out. I have my clear mixed up already. I'm using what I've had actually forever. It's still good. This is some really good shit, by the way. So load it up. Make sure my gun is set. It's kind of hard to tell, really. I need a, I know, fuse. I need to turn my air down. Turn my air down. That should work. All right, so I'm gonna turn my fan on. Make sure I'm pretty much dialed in. I'll just do a test right on the headstock because it's just short and sweet, basically. And I'm just gonna give me a tack coat, which is basically half to 3/4 of a regular coat, which kind of looks something like this. A little bit orange peely. And I'm going to do the same thing for the body right here. I do need something to grab the body itself because I got to deal with the bottom. Purpose of a tack coat is so it's thin enough so that the clear will set up pretty quick, but not too much will run too fast. And when it sets up, it makes the paint easier to grab onto and not be running so fast. I mean, if you were to just go ahead and dump all the paint on there at once, like one solid coat, and be done with it, there's a chance you're gonna have runs. I am trying to avoid that. So I wanna make sure I got a tack coat on here. And what I'm looking for, as far as how much on the tack coat, is where it's like almost flat, but like a very fine orange peel. Pretty much something like this. So I'm gonna give this about maybe five minutes to set up, and then I'll put another coat on it. Say it's been about 5 minutes. So now is where you kind of want to add on a little bit more than a tack coat. So I up my air pressure a little bit more, and up my paint flow just a little bit more. But first I'm going to test it on the headstock piece. And I just got it to right where it's glossy wet, and that is it. That's about as far as I want to go with that one. I want to achieve that same look also here. So I hit the bottom of the horns and just that. Now I'm going to bring the guitar, no, I need actually that hook. I'm going to bring the guitar lower so I can get to the back of the body a little bit better. And also so that way I can actually work this a little bit better. Get more of like eye level. Let me adjust you guys so you guys can see it. And my goal, what I'm looking for is right where it's just wet. I don't want to add on any more after that. I could. But I'd rather do that after this sets up a little bit more. And I just want to make sure the sheen is even and wet. So, and I still have some clear left, which is good, because I want to add more, so that way, when I go to polish it, I have plenty of clear not to burn through and protect the paint on here. So, I'm going to give this one a little more time, probably like 10 minutes, and then we'll shoot another coat on it. Continue on with another round. Well, I still have some paint in here. Oh, by the way, if you get a little junk on the top of it, don't worry, because more likely you're going to be color sanding and polishing anyways. Same routine as before, same pattern, same everything. And I still have a little bit more clear left, which means I'll put on another coat. But now I need to let this sit even a little bit longer, maybe 15-20 minutes, Plus the reason why that is if you put too many coats on too quick, your first coat, as it wants to start drying, it releases gases. And it's going to want to try to push through the other and the other and the other. If you layer too much on too much quick, other than just runs, you can get bubbles eventually starting to go through, which we call gassing out. So, because if you notice, my first coat, my tack coat was like about 5 minutes. My second coat was about 10 minutes. So in this one, I want to go about 20 minutes. So to give all these other coats time to start gassing out of itself before I put another one on, or if I don't, I'm going to come back, I'm going to have all kinds of bubbles in it. So that's one thing you want to think about when you're doing clear coats, or in fact any other colors for that matter. Paint likes to gas out. It's chemical reaction, especially if you're using a paint that requires a hardener or a catalyst, which this clear coat obviously has. So you'll run into that type of issue. So with that, another about 20-25 minutes for me before I'll put on more likely the last coat. Okay, last coat, I'm actually going to start on the body first, just in case if I get too low. I don't really need to do the headstock again, but if I have an extra squirt in there, I will. But I want to make sure I have enough for the body. I do have enough for another squirt on the headstock. And I think I'll just go ahead and do a little bit more on here. Just because, honestly, the more clear I can put on here, the better I can polish it up. But I do have to understand there's only so much you can put on before you can outgas. Around the horns are also a pain to polish and sand because of the curve, so try to give myself a little bit of extra room. Edges. Okay, I think that's enough. So just so I can talk, so yes, nice and shiny. It's wet enough. I don't see any runs or sags, which is great. There is a little bit of chunk, like little fine, basically almost like I want to say lint or very fine dust that landed on it. I'm in a garage here, and of course, you know, my airflow went this way, so anything that was back there kind of went this way a little bit. Not too much, but it's all like stuff that's on the surface, and it can gets sanded down and polished out. No big deal. So I have to wait 72 hours before this can fully cure before I can do anything to it. So in the meantime, I'm going to have to wait, and you're going to actually see the polishing